Okay.
We're ready for that? Are we
We're
good to go? Good. Okay. Well, so welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Inside Out Effect podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Jakes from healingthemind.co.uk and the Inside Out Effect. And thank you for joining us on this wonderful evening. Believe it or not, this is our 40th episode, the Big 40. And so this on our Mother's Day, wishing all the mothers out there a wonderful Mother's Day. They all deserve the credit that they get. They don't get it. No. So happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there watching and all you fellas. I hope you looked after your mums. So like I said, this is episode 40.
Episode 40, wow.
I know, the 40 after all this time, 40 episodes in. And
does that mean we've got to have a midlife crisis?
We might have to have a mid-podcast crisis.
I might have a mid-podcast crisis tonight, I'll tell you. I might have a mid-podcast crisis.
Jonathan is struggling a little bit tonight.
Struggling a little bit tonight. I'm okay. Don't send in letters or cards, just chocolate. Yeah. Maybe a few flowers. It's okay. But no.
Bless you, mate.
Yeah.
I've got some chocolate in there. You can have it afterwards.
Oh, brilliant.
If you're good.
If I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm always good.
So anyway, so as I said, this is episode 40, the Big 40, and we've had it's been fun.
It sounds like you're breaking up with me.
Yeah, we are.
It sounds like you're ending it.
We are. It's like 40.
It's been fun, but I feel I need to move on and do podcasts with other people.
Exactly. Might be time to move on.
But
obviously, so it's been great, and so today we're going to do an episode on hearing voices in your head and negative self-talk. And sorry. Yeah, I know. I always get them. It does me head in. I think it's good being around you. Hearing voices in your head and negative self-talk. But before we start, I would like to introduce my good friend, my business partner. He's the author of the book, Decoding Pain, The Emotional Blueprint to Healing Chronic Pain. So let me introduce the marvellous, the magnificent, and the best Dustin Hoffman lookalike that I know. I have the wonderful and incredible Jonathan Shaw, or Mr. Hoffman. Thanks for joining us. As usual, nice to have you here. How are you, my friend, and how you been? Or is that not the right question to ask this evening?
No, I'm a little under the weather this evening. So So if I'm honest, I'm a little bit. I'm in the middle of clearing something.
Right. Okay.
So
the garden.
So that's not the garden. No, I'm in the middle of clearing something out. So I'm a little bit delicate, but I'm okay. I'm fine. I'll survive. I'll be all right. It's not man flu.
It's not his normal cheapy, chabbly, bubbly self.
No. So apologies if I'm not the exciting, vivacious.
It's been such fun this afternoon. Honestly, you've been great. Nothing better than having your mates with his eyes shut on the sofa.
My eyes asleep.
Your eyes asleep.
My eyes asleep on the sofa. Yeah. The rest of me was dancing, but the eyes were asleep.
So anyway, so how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks since our last episode. So obviously, because you've obviously been busy, super busy.
I've been super busy.
Always super busy. Yes. So would I be right there?
Yeah, I've been super busy. Yes.
Good. So do you want to just elaborate on how super busy you've been, and I will connect to the stream.
I've been helping lots of clients as usual, and helping people with different problems and different things. So been working with different types of problems. I've got a client at the moment with BPD, and I've got another client with sleep problems, and I've got another client with just trauma from the past of operations and the illness she went through. So I've been treating different problems all the time. But the new technique we're using is getting through things really quickly. We're finding it really helpful. It's just shifting a lot of things really quickly. And that's partly why I'm not 100% today, because I've shifted something quite quick, and my body is halfway through doing that. But no, it's been a busy few weeks. Haven't really stopped. You got me in the background. What's going on?
I've got you in the background. Yeah, just setting it up, mate, as normal.
Just setting it up as normal. Yeah, fine. No, I've had an interesting time. I've had a couple of people with some physical problems, and a lot of it just came down to poor movement. I've had one with back pain, and a girl with knee pain, and she the lady with back pain, it just literally came down to a couple of movements she was doing. I mean, there's obviously some trauma in there, which you're helping her with, but there was two very common movements that people make, and this is something I want to really point out to people, because when I say movement is a cause of problems, they don't really understand what I mean, and it's very difficult to describe it unless I point it out what someone's actually doing. I don't mean exercise or not moving enough or sitting down and just vegetating or getting up and just moving around. I mean functional movement, the way we use our bodies in everyday life. That's what I mean by movement. So if we injure ourselves, then what happens is our body will adapt to the injury and then later on, once the injury heals, the body doesn't always go back to normal and isn't used effectively. So if you're using your body incorrectly in everyday life, that can cause chronic pain. It can stop you from healing. It can stop you from getting stronger physically. One of the girl that I've been seeing, her legs were really, really weak, and one of the reasons her legs were weak is because over a period of time, she's actually stopped using her legs and she's using her back to move everywhere. It's very difficult to show you on camera, but instead of using her legs when she sits and stands from chairs, she's actually using her back to move. And it's a very common thing that we all do, and we're not aware we're doing it. And because she's not using her legs have been getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And she had back pain. That was the problem. The reason, or one of the reasons she was getting back pain, is because she kept using her back all the time. It was putting a massive strain on her back. So as soon as I showed her just how to not use her back and you actually use her legs to sit and stand, literally within a week, that's made a massive difference to her, to her pain, just by using the body the correct way. So when I talk about movement, I mean functional movement, where we make moves every single day and they should be correct. But half the time we're making moves.
Yeah, she was with me on Thursday for a session, and she's already told me how weird it is actually to get into the habit of using her legs, because for so long she's in the habit of using her back, and she's noticed a massive difference. She did say that to me on Thursday. Well, I mean, it was a really weird thing. She must have been doing it for a long time, because it was super weird for her to actually use her legs. And then she, over the period of the week, she was obviously overthinking it. But then when I saw her the other day, I said, right, stop thinking, just push through your legs. And when she did that, she was like, oh, that's it, got it. So she got it more when I saw her on, the other day. And just that one, I make that change in a lot of people. It's actually so common. And just that one simple change can dramatically improve your back pain, your knee pain, your whatever it is. Because you said to me because I had bad back pain about, you said to me, a lot of people say that, it's like in offices in particular, getting in and out off of office chairs is a problem, because they're using their back and not their legs, and that's what's causing the problem. It's not the chair, it's the movement of getting on and off the chair that's causing the problem.
Not the back of the chair you need to correct. You don't need to buy a table that goes up and down. That's all complete nonsense and a great way to sell products. But I've never known anyone solve their pain by buying those things. What you want to do is correct the way you're getting in and out of your chair. And a lot of people, they try and correct their posture, because posture is a bit of a myth. And it's very hard to change people's ideas. We're all taught to sit up straight like this, and that's what we try and do when we told our posture. So half of us try and do it, half of us can't be bothered to do it because it takes a lot of effort, and it's completely unnatural. It's completely not the way we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be upright like this and sit. It's not. That would actually tense our body to do that. We are supposed to sit and move in certain ways, but the main problem is when people get in and out of their chair. That's the problem. Or when they swivel. So most people will have a swivel chair. What they do is they swivel, but they leave their legs behind and swivel their upper body. So they're now twisting. And twisting is something that the human body does not like. Unless you're a trained ballet dancer or you're a trained exercise person, twisting is not something the body likes. You can do it in one kind of motion if you're slow and know what you're doing. But most people, when they twist, I've got a swivel chair here. So when they twist around to look at someone, that then pulls on the muscles, which then pulls the spine out of place. And then you get problems. And that's how I developed my own back pain, not because of a swivel chair, but I kept reaching around in my car to get things out of the back seat. And that's how I didn't get back pain, I get knee pain. It always amazes me how just correcting that simple little thing with people almost solves their pain literally within a few days or a week. It reduces it right down. And the other thing I want to mention is now it's coming back to me now. I'm starting to wake up. I had a client in the week, and this client's got lots of pain. She's got lots of things going on. She's got a few autoimmune problems. And as we're clearing things out, as you clear things out with someone who's had symptoms for a long time, one of the biggest things that comes up is, well, who am I going to be? You know, who am I going to be? What am I going to be like? Because they don't know who they really are. And that either comes from being ill, or it comes often from people trying to find themselves. People are always trying to find themselves. They're always going looking, finding themselves. That's a very spiritual thing too. And I find, not that I'm a complete expert in it, but I find there's two people. There's either someone who's really ill and they've lost themselves, or someone is spiritual and they just want to go off and find themselves. The problem with that is they always look in the wrong place. They're always looking for something external.
Yeah.
And the way to find you is to remove all the shit that's on top of you. That's it. You don't need to go searching. You don't need to go, when people say, well, just go in. Well, going in is okay, but if there's a lot of shit that's buried on top of you, going in is going to just meet you with a lot of shit.
I'm just going to say, and that shit that we're talking about is all your past traumas, experience, emotional responses, breakups of marriages, guilt, shames, things you've done, things you've had done to you, business failings, car accidents, whatever it is, even maybe stole a sweet when you were 7. All of that stuff is all stored in you, and all of that stuff does sit on top of the real you. And I categorically know that because, I've been working through it myself, and I do it for all my clients. All I'm doing is removing that shit. And just to be clear that shit is all of your past. Yes. Basically, your past.
Yeah. It is just all, as he says, all the beliefs, all the memories. But what you do is once you clear that, the real you gradually comes out naturally. Yeah. You don't need to find you. You don't need to try and be something. You will naturally just start acting and adopting behaviors that are the real you before you piled all this shit on top of you. Yeah. And I hear it all the time when I work with clients who are really stuck. They're always worried about who they're going to be or, how they're going to be. But I hear it in spiritual cases as well. Oh, I need to go off and find myself. Yeah. For the love of God. We hear it in The Flash quite a lot as well.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
They're always, The Flash is a great TV show. We love it. But they're always going off in search of themselves when really all they've really had is a trauma in the episode that's made them go, oh my God, something's happened. I feel so bad. Yeah. And they go off and try and find themselves. Yeah. All they really do is clear that shock that made them feel guilty in the first place.
Yeah. And
then they'll be right there. They'll come back again.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that those behaviors are all driven by beliefs. All beliefs drive behaviors.
Yes.
So if those behaviors aren't in alignment with who you are or whatever, it's because you've got a load of beliefs that are either, which is what I always say, you make up shit and believe the shit you make up. And that's always from an external situation. It's other people's experiences, other people's beliefs. Everything's outside of us that we formulate beliefs, which actually don't work for us in any way, shape or form. And I spend most of my time clearing beliefs, whether it's about what's going on in the current day at the moment with all this hoo-ha that's going on, because it's all beliefs. None of it's proven. It's all beliefs. But that beliefs that you have that you've been seeing on your TV screen are driving your behaviors.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on. And so we have to remove those beliefs to get you back to behaving more in alignment with who you are, and then you'll start being more you. But all the time you've got all this shit in the way, like you said. You don't really
exactly. And it is that simple. If you can do that, then you will go back to being you. How quickly you do that and the how quick you let go of things is different from each person, but once you do that, you start behaving from just being like, you've been doing a lot more things recently.
I've been on fire, mate.
You have been on fire. I had to put him out earlier on. He was smoking.
Honestly, the last 3 weeks since we've done this podcast. So I've also done my mind reprogramming thing. Can I just talk about this?
Talk about your mind reprogramming.
Right, so really I did this remind programming audio. So I created music and I've done a set of questions, what, why, and how about work and career and taking action. And after 3 days, I was literally, I don't know if I said in the last podcast, I was literally just doing things without thinking about them. I'm just doing them. And I remember sitting on my sofa thinking, oh, it's another day gone. What have I done today? And I'm getting a little bit like, I wouldn't say down, but I'm questioning myself. And all of a sudden I went, hang on a minute, you've done this, you've done that. And because I'd done them naturally, I hadn't registered that I'd done them. And when I actually went through a whole list of what I'd done through the day, I'd done more in that day than I've probably done in a week. And that was a real big eye-opener for me. And I've continued doing it every night. Like I said, I've got the Bluetooth face mask, which I use with the speakers on. And I have it on and I fall asleep with it. And I'm going to do a video about this later in the week. I've just got my Bobby, who does my... I've designed all of the imageries to explain it as how that works. And how you can literally, by putting information in and overwrite beliefs that are counterproductive to who you are, because the beliefs drive the behaviors. And if you change the beliefs, change the behavior, and my behaviors have changed massively down to that. Anyway, I sent it off to 5 or 6 other people to test it, and I've had really positive responses from the people that have done it. They've had exactly the same experience.
Right.
So I'm really chuffed to bits with that, because it's proved to me that the format of this is actually working, and it's having a real positive effect on the people that are using it consistently. They're not just going to bed once and then using it and seeing if it happens, but after the second or third time, they're literally it's changing their life in terms of how they work, in taking action, because all the questions have been structured specifically for being able to, if you've got blocks in your business, or if you can't take action, and they're all just very basic things. You know, for example, one of the questions is, why do I find it so easily to take action so effortlessly? Why am I taking action so effortlessly? So there's 3 questions for each theme, and that theme, just as I'm falling asleep, is now going in. And the meditation that I've done has been so effective that I'm not getting 8 times out of 10, I'm literally falling asleep before the meditation's done. So I'm falling asleep as the questions start to come in, and it's really working really well. So, but that goes to changing those beliefs in me, that's therefore changing the behavior. And it goes back to what you were saying about getting rid of the shit. Obviously, I've done some real great clearing as well over some stuff that we've been working, which also helps. But the combination of the two, the last 3 weeks, I've done so much. It's getting ridiculous. It's like, well, it's nice because it's really nice, and I've done so much. I've got all my stationery printed and designed and sent off, and I've just been so productive in the last 3 weeks. It's really nice as well, and I'm not having to think. I'm not sitting there thinking, right, what do I need to do today? I'm just doing this stuff, so it's really, really good. And I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to do a video on that, explaining it, and I'm actually going to post that on Facebook for anybody who wants to listen to it and use it, and put YouTube videos. So anybody wants it, it's free of charge. You can go in and listen to it. It's a meditation. The music's awesome, obviously, and then just do it for 7, 10, 21 days, and just watch the difference in how you do. But I said, you really want to listen to it as you're falling asleep. I've got the Bluetooth face mask with the speakers. They work a treat, but you know, it's horses for courses really for that. So just reiterating what you were saying really about changing beliefs.
Yeah, any way you change your beliefs is what is the key to everything. Once your beliefs go, then life will change naturally. So if you try that out, I've listened to it. I was one of the first people to listen to it. It's very good. And then he sent me off to sleep. His voice is so soothing, such a soothing, quiet voice in the stillness of the night. He's very good. He's a very good audio. And a lot of times those things work really well because you're just reprogramming the unconscious.
Yeah. So we're going to do one so the plan is it's going to do one for career.
Yeah.
I'm going to do one for love and relationships and romance.
Right.
Because we have lots of blocks around that.
Lots of blocks around that.
Yeah. Especially me, I might have a block around that right now. Yeah. But anyway, well, I haven't got it. Yeah. And I'm going to do one about health. Okay, and I'm going to do one about money.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do one about social. So, you know, this is like how you show up in society. You might be a little bit anxious about going places, doing things, meeting new people, etc. So that's going to reprogram any beliefs around that as well. So I'm going to do all 5, and I'm going to do the first one and then put it out there just to see how that goes. And then the other 4 I'm going to do over the next month or 2 months, and then put them on my website, so you can just go and download those. And depending on what you're stuck on and where you're being stuck, if it's money, if it's work, if it's love, romance, etc., you can go them, listen to them at night, and then just watch how all of a sudden your life changes magically without you even realizing. All you're doing is going to sleep. The other thing as well is that when you realize that your subconscious is actually what drives your whole life, when you change what's going on inside of you, your reality changes anyway, because it's your subconscious that's actually doing all the work. We all believe that our logical brain is what, you know, that does it, but it's not. It's a really minuscule bit. It's like 2% of your brain, 5% of your brain, but all of everything in your life, your thoughts, your feelings, your decisions are all made from the subconscious. So if you're going to bed in a really shitty mood or not in a good frame of mind, you'll generally manifest that the next day, because the subconscious brain is formulating your next day. And so you basically really you're manifesting your next day based on how you go to sleep, and that's sort of pretty proven over time. So when you're doing this, you seem to be I'm waking up in a much more positive thing, because they're all positive questions that gets the brain to go off, because your brain's like Google. You ask it a question, it has to answer it.
Yes. You
can't ask your brain a question, but it's the type of questions that we ask. We always ask, why isn't anything working out for me? Why am I single? And then your brain will go, well, you're fat and you're ugly and you've got no money and you don't go out. And you go, oh yeah, that's a point. And now because you're asking the questions, your brain comes and gives you all the evidence to tell you why you haven't got that in your life. And when you've realized that, that'll put you into a negative state. And then those negative states create negative beliefs. You believe those beliefs, and then they drive your behaviors. But if you formulate more positive questions, which are actually going to give you a positive outcome, then all of a sudden your subconscious brain is now driving you to have a more positive outlook, and the answers you're getting are positive, and therefore you get positive beliefs and positive behaviors.
Yeah.
So that's the whole science behind it, and so far so good.
Good. Excellent. I will look forward to those coming out very shortly.
Yeah. So and personally for myself, I'm now becoming a bit of an international superstar.
International superstar,
Yeah.
sex symbol.
Well, no, I mean,
God of the international airways. What are you? Yeah.
Well, no, it's just I seem to be having a lot of international clients at the moment.
Good.
So I've got clients in Saudi Arabia that I'm working with really well. I've got a lady from Sudan.
Okay.
And in America, and they're going really great, and they're really dedicated to it as well.
That's
I mean,
good.
they're like so dedicated to it. They have such a different mindset to English people, which is a pleasure to work with, because they're just like, I want to get rid of this. I want my life to be better.
Yeah.
And then they're religiously bang, bang, bang every week. They're just getting better and better and better and better. So I've had some awesome successes in a really short period of time with people abroad, and just doing that over Zoom, so I'm sort of like really happy about that, and that's going really, really well, actually, to be quite honest. I worked with one today, and just got rid of that last little bit. She's suffering really bad anxiety. As soon as she wakes up, she's shaking, and I've got rid of that now. So I'm hoping now now we can move on to the next level and start building, her future, which is what she wants, and get rid of those blocks for her future. This week as well, it was Louise, my cleaner. It was her birthday.
Oh yeah! Happy birthday, Louise.
Happy birthday, Louise. So I had a few nice surprises for her, which was really great. So that was really good. And I also got an amazing testimonial from one of my clients, Claudia, who did a great testimonial for me, and which was great. And from this, really, I've been working a lot on it seems to be a lot of PTSD at the moment. I've been doing at the moment. There's a lot of stuff going on. And PTSD is really where we're storing images and sounds in emotional shock or trauma, and that could be anything. I mean, I had one girl who basically handed some dogs back. So she needed to get rid of some dogs, and handed them back, and in handing that back, she felt really guilty. She felt really bad, but in that moment, she had the image of her handing the dogs back, and so we store. So when we have something that's quite shocking, we can store images, and that's the thing that's holding all the information. That not necessarily the guilt, the shame, and the other responses, but there's the images and the sounds. So I've had a lot of people recently where there's a lot of imagery and a lot of sounds being stored in the responses. So a lot of PTSD at the moment. So, but all of them I've been able to clear pretty much in one session, to be quite honest, which has been really beneficial. A couple of them have run over because of the size of the shock, but in most cases, 80% of them I've been able to clear all that PTSD. A few car accidents as well, and so overall, that's been my 3 weeks, really.
So you've been super busy as well.
I've been super busy.
Exactly. See,
absolutely.
It's
more super busy than you, I think.
I think you've probably been more super busy than me.
I'm going to do that. So we're going to. So
we've got a couple of comments. I'll put my glass on to read them. I think. Rebecca says, "Evening, hey Rebecca." Jane says, "Good evening to you both." Evening, Jane. Audio sounds good. Definitely feel it'd be useful for me.
Okay, yes, Jane,
we'll let you know as soon as it comes out, Jane.
Yeah, I'll let you know. You'll see it on my Facebook, and I'll post it on the Inside Out Facebook as well, and then you can listen to that and explain the science behind it and how it's going to benefit you. And so there you go. So anyway, so we're going to move on
to tonight's podcast. We're going to no. It's what happened on this day.
On this day. So we introduce it.
Go on. Boom. So on today's Mother's Day, on this day, what happened?
14th of March.
It is the 14th of March.
It's the 14th of March on Mother's Day. So in 1899, a long time ago, there was a German guy called Ferdinand von Zeppelin.
Ferdinand von Zeppelin.
Yeah, and he
create the Zeppelin.
He got the US patent for the navigable balloon, which was in 1899.
Right.
But obviously the most famous one was the Hindenburg.
Yeah,
which was the disaster which occurred on May the 6th in 1937 in the Manchester Township in New Jersey.
Right.
And it was a German passenger ship that caught fire as it tried to dock its mooring at a naval air station, which is, if you've ever seen that, it's absolutely horrendous. But and I think they stopped using them pretty much after that for passenger travel. So
you can see why.
Oh well, yeah,
you can see why that happened. Yeah,
absolutely. But so that's 1899, the Ferdinand von Zeppelin, proper German name that.
It's Ferdinand von Zeppelin. That's a mouthful, right there.
Yeah, if you met him, you know where he was from. Wouldn't you? You would think he was Welsh.
No, well, depends where you're from.
I suppose so. Yeah,
it depends where you're coming from.
Yeah. So on this day in 1900, the U.S. currency actually goes on the gold standard after Congress passed the Currency Act.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In 1900, it went on the gold standard.
Yeah.
Really?
Funny that.
When did it come away from that?
I don't know. It might be really soon. I think. I've got a funny feeling
okay.
that we might actually be going back to the gold standard.
So between 1900 and now, it went off of the gold standard.
Yeah, well, you know what happened with the Rockefellers, and they took over the fiat currency and made it into corporations and sold everybody out and made you have a birth certificate and blah 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 blah. And now you've just got all this printed money where the central bank, which doesn't belong to the country, they're central banks, lend money to governments with interest, and then the government has to pay it back to interest. So so all of our tax goes to these people. But anyway, so that was 1900.
That's interesting that happened. Yeah, okay.
1900. This is quite interesting. In 1918, there was the first concrete ship. Crossed the Atlantic. It was called the Faith, and it was launched in San Francisco.
Okay, that will take a lot of faith.
Which is a bit weird because that's on the Pacific, so I had to have done a little bit of a journey.
Okay.
But it was a concrete ship, and they actually existed in World War II. Right. As well, and they were actually sparked, or the creation of that was because of the lack of steel, and that was around at the time, and it was called it was known as the necessity is the mother of all invention, and so they started having concrete ships, and
so you can imagine that board meeting, can't you?
Yeah,
you can go, what do we need, boys? We need someone to war.
Yeah,
concrete boats.
Concrete boats. Yeah.
That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great idea, Steve. Do that.
I had that sinking feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, seriously, concrete ships.
Yeah, concrete ships.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Yeah.
So in 1958, the US performed a nuclear test in Nevada.
Right.
That's probably to prepare the moon landing that they filmed there in 1969.
Right, okay,
and obviously that was done on the ground. But the same year, the USS performed an atmospheric nuclear test as well. So isn't it funny that the Americans and the Russians in that year both did nuclear tests, one in the atmosphere and one on the thing? But that's probably paved the way for the the way where they filmed the moon landing. Yeah. In my honest opinion.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Great. So in 1964, on this date, Jack Ruby was sentenced for the death of Lee Harvey Oswald.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So
not happened on Mother's Day. So not really.
I was going to say,
nuclear bombs going off and people being sentenced for assassinations of presidents. So, well, he didn't assassinate.
Do we have Mother's Day to distract us from everything else going on?
Maybe.
Is that why it's there?
Maybe.
Is that what's relevant about Mother's Day?
Yeah. So
it's just distraction.
Yeah. So I don't know. All of that's all a bit strange when you look into all the information about it. There's so much disinformation and cover up over that. But that was So Jack Ruby, I still think he was a patsy in all of it. And but if you look into it, who knows? Time will tell. It might come out.
We hope that it will come out eventually.
It might come out. So in 1980, a Polish airliner crashed, killing 87, and 22 of those people were US amateur boxers. Big crying shame that, because you never know. There could have been a champion boxer in there, but that's a bit of a sad thing that happened.
Yeah.
And this is interesting. In 1992, the Soviet newspaper Pravda, it suspends publication. And now, funny enough, the actual word Pravda, if that's pronounced correctly, actually means truth.
Okay,
it is interesting because it's the Russian propaganda newspaper for the Communist Party. So talk about playing on words, I reckon. Call it truth and then use propaganda.
Yeah, exactly.
Bit like the BBC, if you ask me. But anyway, so
there's a lot of truth coming out at the moment.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, but you got to not look on the.
Not watch
the TV because
don't watch that.
Shite so I don't watch it, unfortunately enough to have learnt that 4 years ago, and that's why all of this hasn't affected me really. I'm just cracking on as normal. Yes, it is. And so this is in 2017. The European Court of Justice rules that companies can ban staff from wearing religious symbols, including headscarves.
Okay.
So that's what you'd call justice, wouldn't it? Really? Don't look after the people. No, look after the companies, the corporations. Great. You can always rely on the Court of Justice to come up with...
Isn't that what a UK government company do now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I thought. For those who don't know, the UK government is actually a corporation.
Yeah, and Boris Johnson is your CEO or your managing director. So that's all they are. And to finish off tonight.
Drum roll, big one, last one.
This is... so in 2018, the World Happiness Report
The World Happiness
The
Report.
World Happiness Report reported that Finland was the happiest country in the world and Burundi was the unhappiest country in the world.
Right, and they came to this conclusion. How?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a load of guys, obviously, with a clipboard walking around all the countries going,
Are you happy?
Are you happy?
He probably asked everyone, excuse me, are you happy?
Yeah. So the funny thing is, I met a guy from Burundi, and he's probably one of the happiest guys I've ever met.
Okay.
But that's probably because he wasn't in Burundi.
Yeah, that's what it was.
In Brentwood.
Maybe he was the only one. Maybe he was the only one.
You can see why he was so happy.
Because
he wasn't in Burundi.
Well, I've never been to Burundi, but I have been to Brentwood. I wouldn't be that happy about it.
Well, it was all right.
It was all right. Okay.
Yeah, and then when you think Mika Hakkinen, who was the Formula One driver, he was from Finland, and he was probably one of the most miserable drivers I've ever met. So I think there's a little flaw in that World Happiness Report. Do you not think
so?
Yeah,
exactly. Might be slightly flawed.
Yeah, the happy guy from Burundi, the miserable bloke from they flip everything upside down, and probably if you went to Burundi, everyone's really happy, and in Finland they're going bloody snowing again.
Yeah,
it's bloody freezing.
I've got a feeling these reports and these studies are probably not 100% true.
No,
we should do a report on a study on how accurate reports and studies are.
We should do a report on how accurate reports and studies are.
I'm really sure
that would be really interesting. All we need to do is get funding from Bill Gates, and I'm sure we'll be able to come up with loads of graphs and tell everybody, predict the future and how it's going to affect.
And a nice big image that we flash on the screen. Yeah, this is really
and then
bad.
Pay someone who's a chief medical officer, pay him a load of money just to spout a load of narrative to say this is actually the truth.
Yeah.
And then nobody has to go and look and find out any truth. We just look at the screen and then just go, oh. But it says chief medical officer, he wouldn't lie.
While all the time they're making money out of things they're telling you to wear on a consistent basis and change every few hours, and they're making money from it.
I wonder how many billions of face masks around the world right now have been sold.
Oh, I don't know. You just see them littered everywhere, don't you, these days? You see them on the floors everywhere. They've been telling. I'm like, oh, dear.
I know.
But yes.
Yeah, and hand sanitizer. And how much of that
hand sanitizer. Yeah, I know. Lots of hand that's washing.
Do you reckon the people that are making the vaccines or the jabs are the same people that make the hand sanitizer and the masks?
I would imagine so.
I'd reckon
it's
a good possibility.
Pretty good possibility.
So anyway, that was on in the news this week. Or the last few weeks. On this day.
On this day. I
can't even say it. Yeah. So anyway, so I thought that was some interesting facts from around the world on this day over the last 100 years or so.
We need to get a little jingle to introduce it. We need a little. No, an actual jingle to introduce it and then end it, so the people at home watching know when it started and finished.
Well, they'd know just by saying, and that's it for this week on this day. And
let's try and jazz it up a bit. Try and make it a bit more.
Jazz it up.
Yeah, let's jazz it up a little bit.
Great. You've actually got a jazzy shirt on.
I have got a jazzy shirt.
I look like a mint humbug.
You got a mint humbug.
Yeah, I look like a humbug.
Okay, right.
Right. Anyway, so
moving swiftly on.
Moving in the news. In the last few weeks, there's been some. We're going to do in the news.
You can do in the news. What's happening in the news?
Well, unfortunately, it's sad to hear about Paul Marvin Hagler, the professional boxer who died.
Yes,
66 years old.
Yes, they reported that on Fox News, and he died shortly after receiving the vaccine.
No, really?
Yeah, apparently.
Along with the other 10,000
They
people.
actually stated that on the news channel that he died shortly after receiving the vaccine.
There was a famous baseball player as well.
Shortly after receiving the vaccine.
Honestly, I've phoned up, booked mine in.
Have you?
I cannot wait.
You can't wait to get it. No, you're urgent to get it, aren't you? You're desperate to get it.
Yeah,
I can see you lining up.
Well, apparently, it doesn't stop you spreading it, getting it, and all the rest of it. So I think it's a really great idea to have all that shit put inside me, so I can go to
nowhere.
To Tenerife for a week.
Yeah, you can't stop wearing a mask.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop you spreading. It doesn't stop you getting it.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop giving it to other people. You still have to social distance.
Yeah.
So that's a really clever reason to take it. I think that's absolute genius. Yeah, so what is the point in taking it again? If it doesn't have any benefit.
Because you're being told
has no benefit whatsoever.
No, you're missing the point, my friend. Because you're being told to do it, so you must do it.
Oh,
you're not allowed to free think, be a free human being, and and realise that actually you're probably healthy on your own.
That case, I'm screwed because I'd never like being told what to do.
No, exactly.
So if someone tells me what to do, I generally do the exact opposite.
Yeah. But anyway, so poor old Marv, God rest his soul, rest in peace.
Yes, that is tragic. Anyone who does pass, when they really didn't need to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, apparently the Oxford one has been put on hold apparently as well.
Oh, the Oxford one's been put on hold. I thought isn't the Aztec one has been put on hold in 6.
Yeah, the Mexican one.
The Mexican one. I don't know what it's called. What's the
AstraZeneca?
AstraZeneca. That's been put on hold by 6 or 7 countries.
Yeah, I know a lot of them.
So because they
can't wait to get it. Sounds like a really great idea.
Sounds a brilliant idea.
I might. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of those rainbow things and just be really proud and say, "Look, I've had mine."
Yeah.
And I good.
Brilliant.
I'm good at being told what to do. I don't know why I'm having it, but apparently you must have it. So I've had it. So and then I'm got a nice little photograph of me with a rainbow.
Yeah,
doing my bit for society.
Oh no, yeah.
Anyway, so do you watch Harry and Meghan interview?
I didn't watch it. I've heard things. I've heard lots of things.
Was it really opera?
But I didn't watch it. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Was it really Meghan?
I don't know. I didn't. I've heard lots of rumours. I've heard that some people, even my cleaner, didn't think it looked like Oprah. And
wasn't.
and didn't think it looked like Meghan. Now my cleaner is not necessarily au fait with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And she thought something looked very suspicious. So I've heard a few people say maybe there was something going on with that, but we can't prove that, obviously. But it was a very unusual interview, I think.
Yeah. I've watched some fascinating Greenstein stuff. I watched an amazing Tom Cruise interview, and then the geezer comes out and it wasn't even Tom Cruise, and I was like, oh my god.
I've seen that going around.
Unbelievable. I mean, it just gets to the point now where it's so accurate now that whatever you see on your TV, how can you believe any of it? No. How can you trust or believe any of it?
We might not be here right now.
We might not be.
No, we could be women.
We could be.
But no, that I've seen several videos about Tom Cruise going around, and it's not Tom Cruise.
Honestly, I watched the video. I didn't realise until afterwards when the guy basically then said, "This is how I made it," and it was just like, wow. Yeah. It blew me away. It was just so accurate. Yeah. I mean, it was so accurate. Yeah. So now, when you're watching the screen on TV. I mean, how can you take anything that they're saying now as
you can't? If it's a recording, if there's nothing live there,
but even if it's live, just because it says live in a corner, it could be pre-recorded. You know,
so
I don't know. So that's why that's why I don't watch the TV. I don't believe anything of it now because it's just all it's not only is it fake news, it's fake everything.
They've been doing the movies for years. They've been you can see they can change people's face and things in the movies. Why can't they? They can obviously do it in other scenarios.
And I think they are doing. I think they've been doing it for a long while. But anyway, and so moving on. So I believe that Texas has now become the 16th state to now remove all restrictions for this.
Yes,
farcical
16 states. So, the 16 states have removed all restrictions. So 16 states have removed masks, social distancing, opened everything up to 100% capacity, and they're absolutely fine, folks.
Yeah,
wow, that's a shocker. Yeah, I know. Oh my goodness me! You mean they're okay?
Yeah.
Oh my, you're not dying from something that's just the flu. Wow, what a miracle.
Which you actually create yourself by detox.
Yes, exactly. Well, what a miracle there, folks. Who knew it? A year later, after all this trauma and people, they've actually decided to actually open up. I can't wait till this country decides to do it.
Well, this is not. So there's another agenda going on, which we think we know what's going on, but until it happens, I think slowly you think people are waking up to it. Slowly. I had a conversation with my next door neighbour, who is Mr. Middle England. Hello, Stephen. How are you today? Right, he's one of those, and I had a 20-minute conversation with him, and I just stood there with my jaw dropped, listening to his perception of what's going on. Is I've had enough. Me and my wife don't even watch the news anymore. I mean, it's all fear, isn't it? And then it's all rubbish now. And I just stood there and I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to do cartwheels and somersaults.
Yeah,
I was
hugged him and kissed him.
I was like, well, because he's sort of like the last guy I think that's, I think when you talk to him, and he's Mr. BBC, but when he come out, I had that conversation, and because obviously I wanted to tell him that. I want to let him know I'm having people here because of my work, because I'm clearing stuff, depression, anxiety, and all the rest of it. He don't care anyway. But to hear him say that was like made my heart just shine. It was just so amazing. So that was really.
And considering we're apparently in lockdown, the roads are really busy.
Yeah.
Just saying, okay. Just FYI, it was Mother's Day. I took my mum out.
You know what it is? All these people driving. All these people driving to the cemetery.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Because of this pandemic that's wiped out so much.
No, the roads were actually really busy. I mean, it's clearly that people are ignoring these rules and regulations.
Well, good.
And so you should.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just. We've been saying
Boris
this for a year anyway.
You bring Boris down to speak to me, and I'll put him in his place.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah,
all of them. Bring all of them down.
But no, it's good to see people ignoring it. Even the woman in the post office, she just thought it was mental. Even though she was following the rules in the post office, she worked there. She was just like, I think it's all, let's get on with it. It's all mental. Let's just end it now. We've had enough.
Yeah.
So more and more people are realising.
Are we allowed to meet on a park bench somewhere out in the middle of nowhere with a friend soon? Or is that happening now?
I don't know. But quite a few people in America went mental when Joe Biden came on. So Joe Biden, the apparent president of the United States, we'll skip over that for now.
Yeah.
But he made his first presidential address, and he said that if everyone's good, then they can get together in small groups at the 4th of July. And you had people coming out going, how dare he tell us what we can do on the 4th of July? Yeah. They went mental. Well, it was disgusting. It was absolutely disgraceful behaviour.
The thing is,
from someone who's supposed to be a president and running the country.
Yeah.
They're not going to listen to him at all.
The thing is what people don't realise is the people are the government.
That's right.
The people are the government, and then we just basically choose who we want to represent us. What's happened is that we, the people, have now somehow come to this realization that they are like our parents and they can tell us what to do and control us. And this is where the line's been blurred, and people now have lost sight of actually they do not tell you what you can and you can't do, and what you can and when you can work and when you can open and etc. And when you go in to look at the legislation, it's all related to government anyway, and people need to wake the fuck up about it, because these people can't tell you what to do.
The government's supposed to be there for you, and so is the police force. They're supposed to work for you. They work for the people, not the other way around.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
And so they have to do what you say, unless you've committed an actual crime.
Yeah, proper crime.
And there's only 4 crimes, just so you know. All the rest is nonsense. The police have no more power than you do.
Yeah.
And you can arrest someone for a proper crime as well. So
I'm going to nick you for wearing that shirt later.
Fantastic. All right, brilliant.
I've already got the van ordered.
Got the van ordered.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to chuck me in the back.
Yeah, going to chuck you in the back. Cuff you.
Pin me down. Beat me senseless for wearing a shirt.
Yeah, and get it out of you.
Just how does it?
Where did you buy it?
How does it offend you?
Yeah, exactly. We're going to find that out.
Because it looks like a tablecloth. How is it offensive?
It is.
It is offensive. Yes, I can tell.
It reminds me of a chessboard.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I Gary Kasparov ran for dinner once. Took 3 hours to pass the salt.
Did it?
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Right, moving on. Yes.
So we will now talk about the topic of the podcast.
Are we going to get to the podcast?
We're actually going to get to it.
Wow, they must.
I'll think about getting rid of all of the stuff that we do it for, and just turning it into an hour with Stephen John.
That'd be quite good. I'd enjoy that. We might not have any viewers left. I don't know.
We haven't got any viewers now. We've already scared them off. Just talking about what we talk about friends and freaks them out.
Yeah,
triggers them.
It triggers them. It does trigger them. Yes. You look like Eric Morgan when you said that. You went triggers them. Your mask dropped down. As if you was about to say fracas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway. So we're going to talk about a bit more serious now.
Have you forgotten what we're going to talk about?
What I have.
It's actually quite serious.
It's the voices I've got going on in my head. I can't concentrate. I can't think.
It's actually quite a serious subject.
It is actually quite serious.
And a lot of people experience it. And it's actually frightens a lot of people. So we're going to talk about voices in the head. Yeah,
voices in your head, and also we're going to move on to negative self-talk as well.
Yeah.
So do you want to?
Yeah. So
we talk about voices.
So a lot of people experience what they think are voices in their heads, and the problem with this is it creates a lot of fear in people because they don't really understand it, and B they get people tell them all kinds of things that then frighten them more, and this is just not true. So if you have experienced hearing a voice in your head or think you're hearing a voice in your head, you normally get different belief systems that come out of that. People either think they're going crazy or they're going mad because they're hearing thoughts that they don't like, or they think they're being told to do something that they don't really want to do, but they can't stop the thought process, or they think it's someone else's voice. It might be theirs. It might sound something different. It might not be theirs. And we come up with all kinds of conclusions of what that might be. But in reality, it is you. It's not no one in there.
Yes.
You're the only person.
You're not possessed.
You're not possessed. You haven't been possessed,
and
you haven't been cursed.
Yes.
No one's put a spell on you. No one's given you a love potion. For the love of God, I treated a woman like this. I
was going to say, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah,
this is quite funny.
I treated a colleague of mine many years ago now, and she's a lovely lady. And I can't remember how she met this other person, but she met this person and befriended her, and then there was some kind of falling out.
Yeah.
And then after that, my friend had this really horrible energy and had these thoughts, and she didn't know what had caused it, and she realized it was connected to this person that she met. And someone told her that they put a curse on this woman, put a curse on her, and this freaked her out, something chronic, because she didn't know how to get rid of that, and she was desperately trying to get rid of it. And all I did was go in, switch off the shock that she had with this person, and it went away. It really was no more difficult than that. And that is sometimes what happens. Sometimes the voice in your head you're hearing is what someone's told you about your problem.
Yeah.
So you might hear a voice in your head which is caused by guilt and shame. And then someone will tell you something of what it is, and then you're going to hear that in your head.
So can I talk about the lady that I've been working with recently?
No, I haven't finished my story.
Go on, carry on.
I'm joking, you carry on.
No, because it's about that.
Yeah, go on.
Go on.
No, I'm joking.
I'm guilty. You know, just
Guilty. Yeah,
I've got some voice in my head.
You're
Now.
gonna have my voice.
I wish I hadn't said
No,
anything.
exactly.
I shouldn't have spoken when I spoke. No. So I've got the lady who that I'm working with currently, and what's happened is she's been suffering really severe anxiety, and it's taken me about 4 or 5 sessions to get rid of it because it's so bad. I mean, she gets up in the morning, she'll start shaking. And she'll have like a panic attack sometimes for 7 or 8 hours. You know, it's just really bad. Anyway, I've been able to get it all the way down to what's going on. And in the last session, what happened is that she was told by a doctor that
by a doctor.
She was told by a doctor that that what's going on for her, all the anxiety and all of the fear and all of the stuff that's going on, and all the lowness and the depression, is down to her hormones.
Yes.
Right now. What happens is that every month, 2 days coming up to her time of the month, she goes, "Oh my God, I'm coming up to my time of the month."
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden she's now
starts
freaking out because she thinks she's going to start having all these anxiety attacks and all the rest of it. And then what happens is she has this massive crash for a whole week where she's in an absolute mess, can't function, wants to literally die. I mean, it's really bad. Like. From the experience, what she's told me.
Yeah.
But as I'm clearing it, I'm hitting a brick wall, and I'm like, right, what's going on? She goes, I keep hearing these voices in my head that I'm never going to get better. I'm never going to get better. It's never going to go away. I'm never going to get better. It's always. She goes, I hear it all the time. You're stuck. It's like it's in there. And I said, okay, well, what is that? And she said, they're telling me it's my hormones, and it's never going to go away. And then when I drilled down a bit further and got past that response of the shock that she had, it was because the doctor had told her that, because the doctor comes from an authority, and other people around her, because she knows the doctor and her friends know the doctor as well, they also now, so every time that doctor's not there, the mum, the dad, the husband say, "Oh, don't worry, it's just your hormones."
Yeah.
So now they're reinforcing the doctor's belief as well, and now she's really stuck. And now she's
3 people in her head.
She's got all these voices in her head telling her, and she hates the experience that she's going through, but the problem is that voice in the head is actually creating it.
Yeah.
So I've been able to go into that voice now and switch that voice off in her head. And guess what? No longer having these anxiety attacks, no longer having the panic attacks, and it's not our hormones.
No.
So
it's important to recognise from the story. It's a great story. And
it is, yeah.
It highlights the problem really well. That the thoughts in the head, or the voice in the head, came from memories of people telling her something.
Yeah.
They came from the memory of being told something, and you can have it not just from someone telling you something, but reading something or hearing something, and that memory plays in your head. So often it's a memory that's playing in your head, or it's a guilt and shame about something you've done that plays in your head, and you're beating yourself up. But it is not something you've been taken over by. It's not The Exorcist.
Yeah.
You're not being taken over. You're not possessed. No one's trying to attack you. One of my clients.
It's a spiritual attack.
It's a spiritual attack. Yes. Oh, you're an empath. You're picking up other people's thoughts. Yeah. Oh, fuck off. I hate that, because so many people get stuck with that. And it doesn't mean, it's very misunderstood. It doesn't mean that you're not empathetic and you can't read people. That's not what it means. If you're taking on someone's emotions, that's not empathy. Now you're just taking on their emotions.
Yeah.
That's not the definition of empathy.
Yeah.
You're not actually taking on their emotions. But people believe they are, and I've switched that off for people, and it stops, and they're still able to connect and be empathetic with people.
Yeah.
So it really does come down to a belief. If you do hear voices in your head, it's normally multiple memories and other people's voices that you hear. Yeah. One of my clients, she would hear her dad in her head all the time. Because she had massive amounts of anxiety, and he used to traumatize her as a child with watching war movies. There's a 4-year-old.
Yeah, you mentioned this in another podcast, haven't you?
Yeah, it was a 4 or 5-year-old being made to watch war movies. She didn't understand what was going on. Bombs going off, guns going off. She was petrified. And all the time she heard her dad in her head. And it wasn't really her dad. It was just the memory of her dad. And that can be changed and switched off. So if you are hearing voices or you're hearing things you don't want to hear, they are just memories in your brain. And it can be changed and switched off. It's nothing wrong with you. You're absolutely fine. You're not nuts. And that is the danger with it. The danger is that you feel like you're nuts. You feel like you're crazy. And that is the danger part of it, especially when someone who is in authority and supposed to know then backs up your belief system, tells you something negative.
Yeah. Well, like that doctor did with that girl there.
Yeah.
And the problem is that when we try and understand what's going on, because we always say you don't know what your problem is. When we try and understand it and work it out, what we do, and say it every week, is we make up shit and we believe the shit we make up.
Yes.
And the problem is, as soon as you believe the shit you make up, that now becomes real.
Yes.
And it's not real. It's just made up shit. We do it about people, we do it about situations, we do it about circumstances, we do it about our feelings, we do it about what we do, how we act, we make it up about everything. We just make up shit all the time and we believe it. And the problem is when we believe it and we project it, it causes problems, massive problems, because it now becomes a belief.
Yes.
And if you've made up shit of something, I'm mad and I'm never going to get better, well, that could fundamentally be a self-fulfilling prophecy unless you come to someone like John and myself or someone else who can get rid of that. And now you are in trouble. So you have to be very, very careful.
One of the beliefs that stop people getting better is the belief they can't get better because they've been told that somewhere down the line, and then that interferes with the healing process.
Or I'm different from everybody else, and I can't. I'm different.
I'm difficult.
I'm difficult. I'm different.
Things like that. And that belief itself just interferes with the whole healing process. So it is your beliefs that are very powerful, and what you're told, to be very careful who you listen to and what they tell you. And as I say all the time, one of the principles of DTO is if you hear or see something that is a fear, suffering, or victim mentality, ignore it, because it's not real. It's not true. If you've been told something that leaves you in fear or suffering or victim, or you see something that scares you or leaves you suffering and victim, ignore it. It's not real. It's not true. It's made up.
Yeah, they're all illusionaries. I keep saying all your thoughts and feelings theoretically are illusions.
Even when someone's apparently trying to be positive, if someone is being positive about something, they won't instill fear in you about it. So if someone is genuinely trying to put something across positively, there'll be no fear around it. If someone says you must do this because other this will happen, that's fear-based. So if they're trying to tell you you must eat healthy, otherwise your body's going to decay, the messages they're trying to get you to be healthy, but they've added fear on the end of it. This is not good. This is not a good person to listen
like staying indoors.
Exactly, yeah. You must stay indoors to be healthy. Yeah. Save lives. Yeah. Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
So be careful when someone tells you something that is fear-based, because it is always a lie. I've never known anything, not anything in my entire life that had fear behind it that was actually true. All things fearful are fake. Ignore it, get on with it, because it just puts you into fight and flight. So if someone talks to you about fire, they're not going to go, oh my God, stay away from the fire. It's going to get you.
I know.
They don't do that. They just say, Johnny, if you don't, Johnny, who's Johnny?
I'll be Johnny.
I'll
be role playing. I was a Frenchman a few weeks ago.
Right.
I'll be Johnny now.
In that case, I'll be Billy.
Hello, Johnny.
Hello,
Billy.
Johnny.
Hello, Billy.
We know a song about that, don't we?
Yeah, don't play with fire.
Yes.
I'm the fire starter. Twisted fire starter.
Yes. But when you tell your children things that fire's bad, you don't instill fear in them, or at least you shouldn't. You just tell them to stay away from it because it's not safe. You don't tell them, oh my God, it's dangerous, get away. Or some parents do, but you shouldn't.
Yeah, because it'll just put you into a victim mentality anyway, and then you're suffering.
Well, it puts you in the fight and flight. You want to run away or come out fine or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyone who instills fear, just ignore it, get rid of it, just stop listening to it. Yeah. It's a load of nonsense. They're not telling the truth. They're lying through their teeth.
Yeah.
And if we take this scenario, if there was a pandemic, genuinely, they wouldn't be instilling fear, because they know fear creates problems.
Yeah.
If they really wanted to help people, they wouldn't instill fear.
Yeah.
They would tell you everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right. We've got it covered. It's going to be fine. They wouldn't be telling you fear-based language.
Everything's fear-based.
And 47 psychologists recently in an announcement
that's right, they did, didn't they?
announced that the government are using PSYOP, fear-based language, to control people.
Yeah.
Not one psychologist, 47 psychologists said the government are using fear-based PSYOP language.
Brilliant.
Now, you can't get more. I mean, seriously, that's just unbelievable. So it's just fear-based. If there was a real problem and the government really cared about you, they would just say, look, don't worry, it's okay. Yeah. This has happened. We've got it totally under control. You're going to be absolutely fine and safe. And then you would be.
Yeah. Well, you've got to remember the word government translated means
mind control.
Mind control. Yeah. And nobody's worked that one out yet.
No, exactly.
Then they've got to go and get my BBC fear hit.
Yeah. But
keeps me going.
Just don't. Just if it's fear-based, just ignore it.
Absolutely.
It's not going to do you any harm.
Yeah.
But that goes back to voice in the head. And the fear can create voice in the head.
Yeah. Well, it will do.
Yeah. Because you're then maybe playing your own fears over in your head.
Well, that sort of also creates the negative self-talk, which we're going to move on to as well, because negative self-talk is basically would be that as well.
Yes.
Don't go here, mustn't, and that'd be fear-driven.
Well, the negative self-talk is often
to everything.
Yeah, the negative self-talk is
really.
normally your self-worth, beating yourself up, and your fears as well. So you're telling yourself that you're frightened and you're scared. Oh my God, it's going to happen. Oh my God, I've got to do this, and that's you running the times
I'm not good enough.
You've been told you're not good enough, but you're now telling yourself.
Yeah.
So instead of here, let's say I've got one of my clients, suffering with really bad depression. He's had it for over 30 years, so it's a long time. And it's taken a while to get to this place because she had a lot of self-worth, but she kept hearing her mum and dad in her head all the time. And then there's two versions of that. You're either hearing your mum and dad put you down, or you're telling yourself based on what your mum and dad are putting yourself down. Yeah. And that's your negative self-talk in that scenario. So you're either hearing the person put you down, or you're just saying what they said in your head.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is a problem then, because you're just replaying it over and over again. And the more you do that, you just literally go inside yourself. You feel weaker. You feel powerless. Your body gets weak.
Well, and everything, you stop taking action. You'll go, I really want to do that, but I can't because I'm not good enough. I'm too fat. I'm too ugly. Nobody likes me. I'm not going to be successful. Everyone else is lucky. I'm always unlucky.
Yeah.
There's a whole load of negative self-talk that comes fundamentally all comes down to that that self-worth issue.
Yeah.
Again, which isn't true. It's all illusionary. It's just that we, like you said, over time, our subconscious picks up all this stuff. And as soon as we have an emotional response to what we hear, our brain then creates that as a reality.
Yes.
And that's why we have to be very careful about what information we take on.
Yeah.
Like I said in that video about Jaws, everyone was happily swimming in the sea, and then the film Jaws came out, and then 30% of the population stopped swimming in the sea after that.
Yeah.
Now it's not real. It was a plastic shark on a screen.
It didn't even look real.
It didn't even look real, but everybody went and watched that, and because they had an emotional response to it, the subconscious brain took it as a real experience, because it doesn't it can't tell the difference between what's real and what isn't.
No.
And that's how TV and media uses fear, because you can't tell the difference between what's real and what isn't.
No.
So when we react to situations, circumstances, events, or people that are telling us all this stuff, and we actually act to it, that becomes a belief, and then we operate from that, because as I said right at the beginning, beliefs drive behaviors.
Yes.
So negative self-talk is and also the lack of self-belief as well. We can
again, I mean, the lack of self-belief, it comes from just feeling so low and being told you can't do something over and over again. I kind of had that myself when I was younger. Although my dad was lovely, he was a great dad. I never had any real issues. He was a good parent. He was very negative about himself. He wasn't happy with himself. So he used to put me down, you can't do this, you can't do that, you're not going to do it,
Yeah.
And whereas my mum was completely opposite, so I had both. But one of my clients who has severe anxiety, or had severe anxiety, she's much better now. And she,
as I say, you're not doing your job, and you've still got it.
No,
send it to me, I'll get rid of it.
Now. But one of the problems was she was raised by her nan and her dad, who were obsessed with their health and dying, and things are bad. And so she grew up with that, and her negative self-talk was that in her head. Yeah. It was either her dad or a nan or herself playing, saying the same things to herself. Oh my God, everything, I'm going to die. This is going to hurt me. This is going to affect me. And that, those voices and then the belief systems that were created were just creating her reality all the time. And that is a danger as we get older. As we're younger, we have these instilled in us when we're very young, and they just grow and grow and grow. Yeah,
the other thing as well is guilt and shame, because the guilt and shame that we have from our past experiences, when we've tried something and maybe it didn't work out the way we felt, and then we feel guilty and ashamed about that event, that also is now creating self-talk. Oh, I've done that before and it don't work. We don't realize that every event's a different event, and every outcome's different, and every situation or circumstance is different. So you can never base anything on what's happened in the past.
No.
But if you've got guilt and shame around it, that guilt and shame will get you in the way, and then that negative self-talk will theoretically manifest itself in the outcome, because your self-conscious go, well, I feel guilty. If I do that, that's going to happen. And your brain will take you to that outcome to say, there you go, see, told you. And then that will reinforce it. And when we was talking earlier on, which was really interesting, is that the problem is when we are doing that consistently, we then start attacking ourselves and beating ourselves up. And that's when anxiety kicks in. That's when we start self-perpetuating our own anxiety.
Yeah, if you are hearing a voice or you're beating yourself up, that will then can make you feel attacked. And like Steve says, you'll then feel anxiety.
Yeah.
And that is the problem with my client. That's what she's exactly doing.
Yeah.
She's hearing a voice, she's hearing herself, and she's getting anxious because she's feeling attacked all the time.
Yeah.
But it's her own thoughts and her dad and her nan in her head.
Yeah. So attacking herself.
Attacking herself. She's literally attacking herself.
Yeah, and for those,
that's very common with anxiety. That is one of the worst anxieties next to health anxiety, when you're attacking yourself.
Yeah.
Most anxieties are not like that, but a lot of, if you're very severe, then that's generally what's
happening. No, I agree. And for those of you who haven't watched or watched any past episodes, all anxiety is feeling attacked and powerless, and the attack responses are a physical attack, a perceived attack, like it's you later, Sandra, and you're attacking yourself in your head. More commonly than not, in probably 95% of cases, it's you attacking yourself in your head that actually causes the anxiety, and we switch those off. In other instances, they're just really in past events where you've experienced being attacked or thought you was going to be attacked that causes that, and then that can replay itself in similar situations. For example, for example, if you got attacked in a bar one day, walking into a bar now, you're going to get anxious, or for example, so they just play out. But they're the causes of anxiety, and we know that because that's what the model we use to get rid of anxiety in everybody. Everybody. So we know that's what causes it. But so you attacking yourself in your head by saying, I'm not good enough, it's all going to turn out right, he don't like me, he's going to leave me, what is so-and-so going to say, what my mum will think, what will my dad think, oh my God, what will everyone say if I do that, oh my God, and then you start attacking yourself in your head, and you start feeling guilty for those thoughts, or feeling guilty for thinking about taking that action, and now you're going to start attacking yourself, and then anxiety potentially could kick in. But so negative self-talk is a big common thing, but all of that can be switched off.
Once you find the root, switch that off, then the voice stops. You don't feel crazy anymore, which is great. You don't feel mad. You actually feel normal. You feel peace of mind. You feel quieter in your head, and the voices stop. They no longer continue. Whether that's your own voice or someone else's voices or thoughts you don't want to have, whatever that is, they will eventually stop once you find the root of it. But it is just memories or people talking, or your own voice in your head. Nothing more than that. If someone's told you something different, then ignore that and go and find a way to switch it off. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you find a way to get rid of it. And it can, once you understand what's causing it, you can then seek out the right help. The reason we do this is to tell you the actual cause of things, so you can then seek out the right help, not continue to do what you are doing and get nowhere. Because that's what a lot of people do,
and it gets progressively worse over time because it will get progressively worse because all the time you're not healing it, you're adding to it. And it's sort of like a graph that just exponentiates further and further up, and it increases. And this is why I say to people, don't wait until you hit rock bottom before you change something. If you know something's happening, and like I've sort of educated my clients to do that now. So as soon as something happens in their life, they're like, "What? I need to get that sorted," and they come and do it. They don't sit there in their head going, well, no, I mean, I'll be all right. I mean, it's just life, innit? I mean, it's just normal. We just get on and just get over it. Once I stop feeling it, I've got over it and moved on for it, and it won't affect me. I'll put it in a box. I'll put it in a box and not worry about it. But
leave it under the bed.
We've got to put it all in my boxes, and then you don't realise that those boxes, all that stuff's going to make you sick, going to make you ill, and it's causing all the negative chatter in your head, because every time you get triggered in the environment, all this stuff's going to come up. Then you react negatively, and then you're going to make shit up about people, events, and circumstances, and the whole thing goes crazy, all because you don't deal and address with the cause of it in the first place.
And the more you go off and try and learn and understand it, the worse it's going to be, because you're going to add more beliefs in. So an example of that is I'm treating a teenager at the moment who's got BPD. That's what he's diagnosed as, BPD, but he's just got lots of trauma running. That's all it is. He's got lots of trauma running, and that's basically the way we look at everything. It's just lots of trauma running, creating all this nonsense.
And we love a label, don't we?
We love a label. They love labels. So anyway, this kid, he reacts, or he did, doesn't now, but whenever he felt spaced in his head, he would freak out just by feeling spaced, and he'd obviously been told something about this, which was he's just having an emotional response to the feeling of being spaced. In fact, I had someone else with that recently as well. Because all things can be a trigger. So as soon as we cleared something, whenever you clear something in anybody, you feel a bit spaced, because you've let go of something, and it's created space in your head.
It's a lovely feeling.
It's a beautiful feeling, but all feelings can be negative. And so this kid and this other person, in fairness, was feeling this space feeling and reacting. And this 16-year-old was having a very severe reaction. This other person was having a panic attack. based on all it is just oxygen going to the brain. Now, they've been told other things about it, and it's freaked them out. When I explained to this young boy, he's very intelligent, super smart. When I explained that's what was happening, he stopped doing it. It just didn't happen anymore. Yeah. He still had the space feeling, and he managed it and he coped with it, but he didn't have the intense reaction. Yeah. He'd been told it was some kind of psychosis. And I'm like, for the love of God, you are just being triggered to
I think someone's gone
when you're feeling a positive feeling.
Someone spent 10 years to learn that, to tell somebody
that. Yeah,
great, isn't it? Well done, you.
Yeah, and this other girl, she was just getting panicky when she felt this feeling. And the other day, I even showed her how to switch it off. And the other day, she went spaced again because oxygen ran to her brain, and it didn't bother her. It didn't affect. She didn't panic. And I had to point it out to her. I said, "You didn't panic then, did you?" And she went, "Oh no, I didn't. That's brilliant. Oh wow, brilliant." Because she didn't realise. Yeah. So it is important that these things, what we're told can really affect your reaction. If the person's already having a reaction to it and you tell them something else, that belief is going to make it worse. Yeah. If you just tell them it's okay and it's normal, that's one of the things that this kid liked. I told him it was okay, it's normal. And he went, "Really?" I was like, "Yes."
Yeah, this goes back to giving yourself permission.
Yes.
Just give yourself permission and allow it and truly believe it. Yeah. I say this to a lot. If you give yourself permission and allow it, that's 50% of your problem out of the way.
Yeah.
But most of the time we fight it. We have beliefs that are counterproductive to that. Yeah. We pushed it away. We don't accept compliments. We don't accept love. We want it, but as soon as we're offered it, we push it away and we get angry. Yeah. And because it triggers things in us. Yeah. And so once we allow ourselves to have that and give ourselves permission, the whole response changes. So I just thought I'd leave on that because
I totally agree. Once you change it, it's fine. And we just want to share the right information so you guys know what to do. We can't reach through this screen and fix you or do the technique on through the screen. But if we tell you the right thing to do, you can then go and search that out and find a way to solve that. Yeah. And one of my friends, she messaged me. And she said, I'm really going crazy. I'm going mad right now. She thought she was going mad. And it took me, 45 minutes to switch it all off and she calmed straight down again. Yeah. She just had several shocks, several triggers. She felt she was going mad. And that's very common. And within 40 minutes, it all calmed down. Yeah. And she's still fine now. And so it's just we want you to find the right answers. We want you to do the right thing because we know this works. Yeah. We know that if you do this and find it within you, the shock, the trigger, wherever it is, it will switch off and go away. Sometimes it happens really quickly. Sometimes it takes a bit of time. If you're very stuck, it takes a long time. But you will see the result and you'll gradually start to get better because this is the root cause. I did a presentation the other day and for people about the model that we follow, the meta. Yeah. And one of the myths is that what creates our problems. We're always taught exercise, age, diet,
food,
chemicals, all these things that we're taught. They all create our problems. And most of the time, they really don't. Yeah. Most of the time, they're not the cause of our problems. But we then try and fix that. And when we try and fix that, we go around in circles. Yeah. So if you are trying to solve something, if you do have voices in your head or you're hearing things you don't want to hear, then call the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Then if whatever you're trying to fix it is not working, stop doing it. And find the route, find someone to help you. If you're trying to use nutrition, stop it. It ain't going to work. If you're trying to exercise, distract yourself, stop it. It ain't going to work long time. If you think you're going mad because the doctor's told you're going mad, tell him to get lost and come and actually search out some help.
You're going to say come and see us, but come and see us.
I don't like saying that. I don't do it for that reason. But
I know,
but I'm not telling them to come and see us. I just want them to do the right thing. Yeah. I want to know what the cause is so you can go off and do it.
I get that. But it is all right to say that.
It is all right to say. No, it is all right to say that.
Yes. To say that. I'm happy to say that because at the end of the day, I'd rather someone say, "Do you know what? Actually, Steve, can you do that?" Well, I've had it a few times from people after the podcast.
Yeah.
Instantly phone me up, contact me, boom, and I've had them in and solved the problem. Yeah. They've no longer got it.
Exactly.
They're not like now on they're not on the Google or DuckDuckGo going, I'm looking and then looking. And then I've got to do look at the reviews, make sure the reviews are right. And then go and do a bit of
just contact us. No, the NHS say this. I'm
stay away from that. Yeah.
Seriously, stop looking at things. And Google doesn't tell you anything. Stay away from Google.
I love a label. Ill, isn't it? It's a new label. Ill.
Yeah, I love a label. Ill's a new label.
Are you ill? I love a label.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many labels. People with the illness hate the labels.
Yeah.
The ones who've got this, they hate it. They just want to get rid of it.
Because they identify with that. I am that. I've got that. No,
it makes some people, it makes them feel a bit better. Some people actually like it because they go, oh, I know what's wrong. You don't know what's wrong.
Yeah.
It just describes your symptoms. It's just so when one doctor talks to another, he goes, she's got anxiety. And the other doctor goes, That's basically all they do.
Do you reckon them two doctors would be able to solve that anxiety? In that
no. They go, what should we do? Fuck off.
How about CBT?
Yeah,
how about manage it? Drink some water.
Exactly.
Go do some exercise.
Yeah.
Change your diet.
Well, tell me it's our age. You just have to live with it and control it. For the love of God.
I know.
So if you're doing something and it's not working, or it's only managing and control it, then please seek out the help to switch off your traumas, your memories, everything. Yeah. I did a presentation the other day.
You said this already?
No, it's something else.
Another presentation. How comes I haven't been invited on these?
And a woman messaged me saying she'd never thought of the trauma being the problem. She'd never thought of the emotional response being the problem, and she suddenly realised that's what it was.
Yeah.
So you have to recognise. We don't have to. You can stay stuck if you like. But once you,
I'm stuck at the moment with presentation envy.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, what's going on? I did 3 presentations the week last week actually, I had 3 of them.
No, it's actually on my website, Decoding Illness and Disease. It's actually it's the thing. So I'm teaching people the meta model that we use. Yeah. So I'm teaching the meta model of how to understand illness and disease.
What actually causes it,
and how the process works, because there's actually a beautiful process that the body goes through. It's not random, it's not by mistake, it's actually a beautiful process, and if you understand the process, you can come out the other side. And I've started teaching that on a new website to people, and teach it in steps, and it's totally free. You can watch the videos, they are totally free, they're bite-sized chunks to give you the information in a sort of drip feed way, so you can understand how disease actually works. And once you do understand that, then you can find a way to solve it.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so we're 1 minute and 11. 1 minute, 1 hour and 11.
1 minute 11.
1:11 in. So should we wrap up for tonight? Should we call it a day, or have you got anything else you want to share with our lovely viewers?
No, I'm good. I just want to say, if you want to, please like and share this as much as possible. Actually, hearing voice in the head is actually very, very common these days, unfortunately. And it does scare a lot of people, and they think they're going mad, so they don't seek help for it because they think it can't be fixed. Yeah. And they're
worried about, if they told you that, they're going to be mad and locked up.
That's right. Yeah, they think you're going to think they're mad, and they also think no one can help them because they think they shouldn't have it. So, and they think there's something wrong with them. So if you do know anyone, or even someone needs a self-talk, again, same thing. Just share it. Let people hear the message that it can be fixed, and actually know, so you can see what's actually causing it, not what they've been told. Yeah. So please like, share it. Thank you everyone for watching. We really appreciate that. Whoever is watching. Yeah. Have a lovely Mother's Sunday.
Even if you're not watching it live, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. If you're watching it,
if you're watching it tomorrow afternoon, cool. Won't Monday a bit of a crappy day, but never mind.
Never mind. Just sit and watch this. It will give you a good laugh and a giggle. We hope. Yeah. And happy Mother's Day to all the amazing women out there who take care of their kids.
Like I said,
kids often need them.
Like I said, I don't get enough credit, I don't think, and they're taken for granted, I think, in a lot of cases. And so happy Mother's Day to all that. So we're going to wrap up. So that's it for this, the 40th, the big 40 of the Inside Out Effect podcast. So I've been your host, Stephen Jakes. This has been my good friend, Jonathan Shaw. You can reach him on thedtosystem.com. You can contact me on healingthemind.co.uk, and obviously go to our Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube channels if you want to watch any previous episodes of our podcast, where we cover 40 different topics now. So there'll be an answer there for you if you are really looking for it. Just don't Google it. Go to our YouTube channel. So chances are the answer is there. Yeah. So until the next episode, we wish you a really good fortnight or so until we come back. I think we might do. It's my birthday. I think the next one.
Is your birthday next one? We might have to skip that then. We don't do anybody. We're having a party, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to have a proper party.
Proper party.
Zoom party.
No, we're not doing a Zoom party.
Yeah. No. So we'll probably do in a couple of weeks, as long as you don't call off last week. No, it's my fault. Sorry, folks. It's fault. Yeah, I had it all prepared and everything. But anyway, so thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode of the Inside Out Effect podcast. Like I said, I've been your host, Stephen Jakes. Jonathan.
I've been Jonathan Shaw.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us. Take care now. Cheers now. Bye.
Bye.